The second stage is called the restructure. And this is where we start to restructure that negative cycle. The very first thing in order to restructure anything is people need to learn, what do they need to feel safe and connected? And our attachment gives us a very clear map of what is it that they need. The key question in attachment relationship is, are you there for me? Are you accessible to me? Are you responsive to me? But so the first thing is to recognize, understand that people need to feel safe and connected. They need to feel they matter, you care about them, and they care about you. And all of that creates a bonding conversation where people can learn how to turn to each other and share that vulnerability and be accessible, responsive, and engaged. Hi, I'm Dr. Lola Gershfeld, and I help companies master the art of relationships so they can overcome interpersonal conflict issues and keep the talent they deserve. Are you there for me is $1 million question in bonding relationships. For me, A.R.E, are you accessible to me emotionally? Are you responsive to me emotionally? Can you hear my stress? Can you just hold that space? I don't need a solution from you. I don't need you to fix it for me. I don't need you to go and talk to somebody for me. No, I want you to help me to have that space so I can regain my balance and solve my problem myself. That is how we thrive. That is how we become confident in our work. So this is very important, especially for managers, because they are key attachment figures. And are you engaged with me? Even though you don't agree with me, even though you may not understand my content, but can you still stay engaged with me? And this is one of the things, as people start to learn what's happening with them as they go through the process, what they start to do is we start to soften the pursuer because they have the language for emotions. They know what's happening for them, so they can take a breath. They don't have to have urgency every time, right? Because they have these bonding conversation, so the relationship becomes more secure. And now we also re-engaging the withdrawer, so the withdrawer can say, I don't know what to say right now. I'm getting overwhelmed, but I don't know what to say right now. But I'm not leaving the conversation. That is huge for pursuers that are afraid that the withdrawer would shut down and not talk. That is amazing for withdrawers to do. So that is changing the cycle, because if you don't have a response, you don't have a relationship. So if that question, are you there for me, is answered with a no or a maybe, you have a relationship distress. You are in a negative cycle. But if that question, every time we do a bonding conversation, the answer to the question, are you there for me, is yes. Because I'm turning to you, I'm listening to you, I'm accepting, I'm validating, I'm making that space for you. That gives me more security. And now I start to feel like I matter to you, like you care about me, not just care about my work, but you care about me as a human being. Again, and that is very, very significant for people. So the reconnection form, important tools in the EMC process. This is what you really learn in the EMC masterclass, is how to use this reconnection form. And it's a guide. It's a guide for you to not get off in content, because content is very interesting. Our brain goes into the storytelling, and let me tell you another story, how this person have hurt me, or how this person is behaving. No, we're going to understand what is happening for you. What is the impact it has on you? So as you continue to do these reconnection forms with yourself or with another person or with your team, what you start to see is that the shift in the relationship. You start to see a shift in their understanding, in how much more clear they see each other, how much more open they feel with each other, because people want to be connected. They just don't have the tools to do that.
Say that the reconnection form gives you a safe space to do it, because I feel like a lot of people sometimes in the moment of like having conflict or trying to solve the conflict even their vocabulary shuts down and they don't have the words to say it, and this really helps guide and give a script, and it puts it in such like a very eloquent way, and there's a guide, and I feel like it's so wonderful and such a great tool in general.
I remember doing the process without this form, and I would get lost. I would get lost in content. Like you said, I'm
Mhm.
trying to figure out who is right, who is wrong, and my brain automatically goes into that content story. With
Yeah.
the connection form, you really, like you said, you are staying very focused. And as I was doing the intensive session for this team, I mean, I used like 10 or 12 reconnection forms, right? Because everything is about that relationship, everything about that. I'm repairing, I'm creating a space for them to unpack the emotions that are activated during that disconnection. I'm giving the voice for them to slow it down, like you see the image, the bodily sensation, the worst fear about yourself. All of those things slows the amygdala down. And when I validate, what am I doing? I'm talking to the amygdala. I'm relaxing the amygdala. So by the time I get to the automatic thoughts and protective behaviors, my prefrontal cortex is fully engaged. Now it says, oh, so when I get triggered, this is what I think. I start to think, I give up. How dare you? I want to get away. And what do? I shut down or I become more aggressive. I start to demand. That realization, just imagine how people change in behavior when they have that realization. It is transformational. And people start to actually learn how to ask for what they need. Because if you don't ask for what you need, you're going to continue to be in distressed relationship. This is one of the things that we find in our research and in our work is that people have to have these three components to learn. What are the emotions happening for them? What are the fears that are going on when they get disconnected? And what do they need to feel safe and connected? Now, in order for me to do all three, I have to slow things down. I have to tune into my emotions. I have to turn to the other person. I have to know that the other person will not reject me. So all of those things takes a lot of practice. That's why we have all these tools. All of that helps you to practice the 5 techniques that we teach about emotional responsiveness, validation, reframing, how we actually reframing into the negative cycle so people don't feel like they are the bad guys. They are the ones to blame. That creates a lot of distress for people. We are also reframing in attachment significance. Look, you guys are here. This relationship means a lot to you. I can see how much this project means to you. You care about that. All of that attachment significance, we use it in the process, and you learn how to do that so you can manage emotions. We are co-regulators of each other's emotions. So we have to learn how to work with emotions and how to co-regulate each other's emotions so that we can balance ourselves and become accessible, responsive, and engaged. This is, I think, the essence of emotional intelligence.